Hello, and thank you very much for taking the time to view this video on the Division of Soil and Water Conservation's online training orientation. Our goal here today is to get you ready to take your online training class. We're going to cover 5 main topics in this video. First, we're going to give you an overview of the system software called SoftChalk. We're going to talk about the technical requirements to view the content. We're going to talk about the very important login protocol for your training. We're going to talk about how the activities and quizzes are accessed. And then lastly, how to make sure that you finish your class and assessments properly so that your scores get communicated to the course managers. Okay, let's jump right in. SoftChalk is the software that we use to create and deliver our content for each of the courses. This particular software allows us to deliver many different activities, videos, and other materials to make your learning experience the best it can be. Within the SoftChalk software, there's an element called the Score Center. It's a back-end scoring system for SoftChalk, and it's very important that you understand how to log in properly with credentials to make sure that the course managers are able to view how you're doing during the class and whether or not you have completed it. A big help to students using the SoftChalk software is the Student Guide to SoftChalk Lessons. You'll be given a link to this document when you get an email from the course managers or any other communication, and even during your time going through the content, you may see links to this guide. I would take time to download it, have it accessible on your computer to review it in case you run into issues. Feel free to print it out if you like, but it's certainly not necessary. But having it available, easily accessible from, let's say, your desktop on your computer is recommended. Listed in the box on the right are the technical requirements for SoftChalk. You don't need any extra space on your computer or additional RAM. As long as you can run your browser effectively and efficiently, then SoftChalk should run without any problem. Included here are the operating systems that SoftChalk will run on. Note the browsers that SoftChalk is recommended to be run on. I will make a note that Chrome is the preferred browser from the developers, and while the content will run on any of those listed, it just seems to run a little bit more efficient on the Chrome browser. The content is also available using mobile devices, as long as you can access the web from your mobile device, either a phone or a tablet, and it has been tested. Again, if you have any issues with regard to the technical requirements or how you need to set up your computer, go ahead and take a look at the Student Guide to SoftChalk Lessons. A couple of notes on the technical requirements. First of all, if you are running Internet Explorer, please do not install the Google Chrome toolbar. That does not help you run it in Internet Explorer. In fact, we have noticed some issues with the scoring when that Google Chrome toolbar is installed on Internet Explorer. Please do not install it there. And again, if you have any trouble with the program delivering your content, there is a troubleshooting chart within the Student Guide to SoftChalk Lessons. Once your browsers are configured properly, then you are able to log into the course or assessment using the credentials that were sent to you either in an email from the course manager or in a welcome letter sent from the division. So please make sure you have that information available once you begin to start the course. You should have a user identifier as well as a password. Once you click on the hyperlink to get to your course, you'll see this blue box. Note that it's going to ask for your password first and then for your user identifier information. I know that in the past that's tripped up a couple of folks, but and it's a little counterintuitive, but in SoftChalk we need your password first and then you enter your user identifier. Once you have correctly entered that information, then go ahead and click the submit button. If for some reason you log in incorrectly, you're going to get either one of these two boxes on the right. If you put in your wrong user identifier, more than likely you will get the top box. If you put in the wrong password, more than likely you'll get the blue box on the bottom. You'll have to go back or re-enter your information as the notes on those boxes instruct you. After you had correctly entered your credentials, the blue box will reconfigure and then notify you that you have successfully logged in, and you can go ahead and click on the View Content to start the course. Once you click on that View Content, you go to your course, and then you should have this pop-up that has the Score Center instruction heading and the Finish button on the last page in the pop-up window, along with the button. If you do not get this pop-up once you have clicked on the View Content button, you'll need to start over, and more than likely you'll need to reconfigure your browser settings. In the third button on this slide, we give you some hints on Chrome and Internet Explorer to go in and set your browser settings to be able to connect to the Score Center. This is very important. Again, you can use the SoftChalk Student Guide if you have further issues, but you must get this box in order to continue with your assessment, or for new members and TDP folks, you need this to continue with your course. Also important here is to point out the click Finish button message here. You may want to take a peek at the last page of your training just to make sure that Finish button is there. But as you go through the training, don't forget that when you actually do get to the end, you need to click on that Finish button, as that will send the scores to the back-end Score Center so that the course managers can keep track of who has passed or failed or is going on to the content for a better score. So once you've seen this pop up, go ahead and click on the Continue button. When you do, you'll see yet again another pop-up. This is very important for you to notice that this pop-up, which says Lesson Successfully Connected to Score Center, appears. It will only appear for a very brief few seconds, so do look for it after you click on that Continue button from the last pop-up. Again, if you don't see either one of these pop-ups, it would be to your advantage to stop and reconfigure your browser so that you log in, you will be able to get these pop-ups. That way you know and have some confidence that your work will be counted and that you won't have wasted time going through content and assessments with not being counted in the Score Center. New board members, this is what your pop-up would look like after hitting that Continue button. So let's talk a little bit about actually going through the content itself along with the quizzes and assessments. First and foremost, the content within each of the courses is pretty rich. There's a lot of information there, so we recommend that, like any other class or course you take, you need to break it up and view the content in full doses over several 1 or 2 hour sessions over several days. For those of you taking the TDP training, typically your trainings are only available for a month or so, so you're going to want to start the training early in that month and give yourself time to work it through over the 5 days that it's been made available. You will notice that the content is a mix of different activities, including stuff to read, activities, quizzes, games, as well as several videos. Not all of the activities are scored, and those items which are scored, such as the assessments, new employees, you will know from the introductory material given to you at the start of your registration and before you begin as to which activities will be scored, what your minimum score requirement is to pass the class, and so forth. So be mindful of that as you go through the content. As mentioned before, it's important to have this finish button on the last page of your course or assessment. You will also more than likely have this box, which gives you options to email your score, print the certificate, and print your score summary. We ask that you email your score to the division by clicking on that button. That will let us know that students are working on the course. We actually don't use that as a official score, but we do use the certificate information as that you have completed the course satisfactorily. In fact, when you hit that print certificate button, if you've not met the minimum score set for that course, it will ask you to go ahead and redo the course so that you get a grade that is passing. The print score summary, that's optional. That is for your own record if should you choose to want a hard copy of that information. When you've completed the email score and print certificate, then you complete the course or the assessment by hitting that finish button, and it will send your scores to the score center, and you will have officially taken that class, that course, or finished that assessment. And again, if you did not get enough points to print the certificate, go ahead and hit the finish button anyways, and then you can retake the assessment or course again. Usually there are multiple chances to take those courses. Check with your course managers to make sure that you have that opportunity, or reread through your introductory course materials to be sure that have the option of taking the course again. So with that, I thank you for your attention and for viewing this video. Good luck on your course or your assessments.